Hello and welcome to round number 2 of the National Capital Chapter BMW Sports Car Club of America for Raceverse. This is Matt Houston with another round here of the National Capital Chapter. We're about 3.5 minutes from the end of qualifying here, and we have Chris Hill at the top of the charts, followed by Steve Ficacci in P2, Darren Treakle in P3, Stefan Vapa in P4, Brian Kennedy there in P5 at the moment. Stefan Vapa here, our pole sitter from last week. Really strong run at the beginning though, but then was caught out, maybe just like setup kind of issues for the race anyway, and Ficacci and Hill got around him, and so did Treacle, and he actually fight back, gained some spots, and came back to it. Anyway, we've got about 19 cars here tonight. We'll see if anybody else shows up at the last minute here. But shout out to our sponsors here. Let me pull this up. We've got SEO Mike is one of our new sponsors this season. So SEO Mike specialized in our organic search engine optimization since 1997. And over the last 24 years, they've worked on over 4,000 websites in a wide variety of industries to achieve strong ranking and search engines, leading to growth of traffic, sales, and revenue. And of course, from last season returning is Beltway Brewing Company. So Beltway Brewing Company is out of Sterling, Virginia, and they have a special handcrafted lineup of IPAs, lager, sour stouts, and even seltzer. And you can order directly from their website, beltwaybrewco.com. They do contact-free delivery right to your door, or you can head on over to their Sterling taproom. And I will also mention Treakle Insurance. I'll get some Darren on there in the side-by-side there. We've got Treakle Insurance, and they're an independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance. And they've teamed up with Hagerty there to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. And you can visit their website, treakleinsurance.com, just as you see it on the screen there. But about a minute left in qualifying. We've got Hill at the lead. One of our sponsored cars here is Darren Treakle. But we also have Stencelier right there, actually on screen, is in the Beltway Brew Co. car on the outside of Treakle there. Get a good view of that Beltway car into turn one here. Onto the S's. They go. So we're running, there's a few different layouts here of Watkins Glen. We're running actually what is called the Cup version. That is the NASCAR Cup version of this track. It's a really short lap for these cars, a really high speed. They're running the bus stop version though, the inner loop, they call it. There's actually an option to not run that at all, kind of, and they go straight into this corner really high speed. That one's the one you want if you want even faster speeds. Looks like Hill has called it a day. So has Ficacci. Treakle still out here as qualifying. We've got about 90 seconds that we're going to let cars currently on laps finish off, and then we will go through our grid here. Vapa still out here. Really tight, really at the front of the field from first to eighth, about a second between the cars, so that's pretty close. Over here, still working on his lap. Barry here's finished off his lap. He's gonna call it a day. Park off in the turn one runoff area there. Checkered flag for Dean Uline, as well as Stefan Vapa. So I think we can go through, I think that's everybody qualified there. we can head on and look at our grid then. So we're going to have Chris Hill starting first at a minute 6.265, followed by Steve Ficacci, Darren Treakle P3, Stefan Vapa in P4, Brian Kennedy P5. This is a very similar order to last week's running there, as Dean Thuline in P6, Colin Kortanek in P7, Igor Soiker in P8. I don't believe Kortanek ran last week. Yakov Bielik there in P9, Scott Kim P10, Aspen Belvin P11, Matthew Stover P12. Heading back is Barry Buchanan in P13, Peter Yerksa P14, Stan Cellier P15, Tim Bradford P16, Stephen Tenney P17, Robert Benson in P18, and rounding out our field is Peter Lanik. Peter has not set a lap, so we'll see what happens there. It is going to be a long pace lap here. Don't have some of our tracks here, they start somewhere in the field or like somewhere around the track, and we don't have to do a full pace lap. But here at Watkins Glen, we have a full pace lap. Although with this cup version of the course, as I mentioned before, we won't have as long of a run through. Thanks everybody for watching out there in BMW world. Gonna have a good one here tonight. Talking with the admins earlier today, they were excited about this one. They're a little worried about, we've broadcast some other races on this particular circuit before, and when there are crashes, they tend to be rather big, just because the speeds are going to be really high, and the track is, some of our tracks we go to take 90 seconds or 2 minutes to get around. This track, that whole lap was about 67 seconds. So that is a really quick lap for these guys. I guess last week was a quick lap too at Summit Point. So they ran into lap traffic real quick, with 19 cars going to be starting this race. But Chris Hill, actually a little bit different livery this week, I just noticed. Looking good. I don't know how much different it is, but it just seems slightly different than what it used to be. Treakle in P3. You get a good view of these cars here on this pace lap. We've got Yakov Bielik there in that orange car, crafting for a cure. We've got Aspen Belvin there and the Dale Earnhardt. I believe that's Aspen is who we're looking at there, because it says number 3 on the side, but yeah, see a number 14 on there. We also have a number 3 on there. Get a good look at Sten Cellier's car as well as the Beltway Brew car. And of course, we don't want to miss out on Barry right there, his car. Not sure what, kind of a shade of purple there, but I'm not sure. It's probably got some specialty name of the kind of purple we've got on that car there. Yeah, we're going to be heading for about 40 minutes of racing here, and that's going to put us around 37 laps. Robert Benson, he's been driving that car for a while. That livery, that is. Stephen Tenney. And we're about done. Get some shots. You can see that mustache on Scott Kim's car, but heading back up to the front, we're going to be coming to green flag here. Porsche pace car will duck in. The field will be at Chris Hill's command. He goes green flag early on in this one. 40 minutes into turn 1 they go. 3 wide. Fikachi has a really good run on the outside there. It's a little wiggle on the wide corner, and Hill takes the lead. So far, so good. This was a tricky part. Oh, we've got Barry there in the back. He is turned around. Looks like his car is okay, though. That was a couple cars in that incident. As I want to go up to the front. Fikachi takes the lead into the inner loop there from Chris Hill. But I want to get a replay of that first lap incident there. Let me see if I can go back there. Hopefully I don't miss that battle for the lead. We'll be heading back to that in a moment. Let's see what happened here. That was before. Let's rewind that. Yeah, I think that Barry got some help from Sten, in fact. Yeah, I think that he got some. Let me just double check this. Yep. Side by side, two cars going into where one car goes. That was not going to happen. All right, back up to the front and the battle for the lead. Fikachi takes the lead. Darren Treakle goes wide on the outside trying to go through the bus stop. So Chris Hill has the preferred line. Through they go. Kennedy working on Vapa there. We expected some close racing here. Matthew Stover, a great start to this race. He's up to 6th from 7th, and I see Dean Thuline here is, I believe that's running one of the SEO Mike cars. Oh, and he gives the punt to Stover. That's not what we wanted there. That was a tough break, though, and that will put Bielik into the 6th spot with Aspen Belvin in P7. Scott Kim, P8. I want to watch this battle for the lead as it heats up. Chris Hill has a good run on Fikachi. I think I'm going to go on board with Treakle here. There we go. Going on board with Darren Treakle here. That previous corner you could see actually had quite a bit of banking for a road course. The only other banking we really have on a course is at Daytona on the oval there. Has a lot of banking. Here from the Treakle Insurance on board is Darren. Chris Hill gets a really good run. They let him drive because this is the NASCAR version. Like NASCAR runs a lot here. There is a lot of room to go wide on that turn 1 exit, and they can use a lot of it. That was through the S's. And up here is, there's two different names. Sometimes they call it the inner loop. Some people call it the bus stop. I call it the bus stop mostly. But if you look at the track map, they call it the inner loop. And then this area is the outer loop. Really tough to make a pass here. Kind of just waiting for somebody to make a mistake. And these drivers are using open setups now as well. So they will each have kind of different choices that they have made for tonight's race. And that was a lap or so at Watkins Glen Cup version, as we have about 5 minutes passed in this race already. 35 minutes to go. Let's keep it up for this race and see what happens here. Kennedy trying to catch Vapa there in P4. A good battle here for P6. That is Belvin in P6, Bielik in P7, Soiker in P8, Scott Kim in P9. Yerxa is gaining on Bradford there, Bradford in P11. A little bit different here this season. We're doing points down to 15th spot. With that wild card podium interview, well, there's the podium interview, and then there's the 7th place interview. Dean Thuline working on Matthew Stover. I think these two, as we've got Stover going around there, Thuline has to dodge it. Keeps it going straight. Let's get a replay. It looked like Stover just a little bit in too deep on that one. Out of control. Good, good effort by Dean to get around that. Looks like back up to P4 Vapa, starting to gap away from Kennedy, and kind of in the middle between Kennedy and Treakle, as Hill is right on that bumper of Fikachi. Looks like Hill made a little mistake because he's coming under pressure from Treakle. Hill goes inside to guard. Treakle hops out. But that defensive line gives Hill the preferred line through that. Fikachi getting a little bit of breathing room up there in P1 as Treakle puts on the pressure, puts on the heat. Looking through the field, Soiker about actually let's look at Cortanic has dropped back and he is behind Bradford. I think that Cortanic might have made a mistake somewhere in here. Set him back. I see Scott Kim has made it into that 8th spot, getting around Yakov Bielik. As Cortanic looking on the outside. They're going to go side by side into the bus stop here. Is this going to work? Bradford lets him go, it looks like. But then Cortanic gets a little hot, and Bradford tries to make a move on the outside, has to check up a bit, right on Cortanic's bumper here. And you got Robert Benson right there as well. I believe that's Benson. Actually, it's not. It is a Yerxa. Apologies to a Yerxa there. Oh, Bradford makes a mistake on the exit of turn 1. Comes under pressure from Yerxa. And looks like he's going to have that position through the S's there. Okay, back up to the front. Hill is under pressure from Treakle. See some smoke there. Might be a slow car ahead. Looks like Kennedy has lost touch a bit with Vapa. And he's got Belvin behind him. And Soiker behind Belvin. And now, Hill making a little bit of ground on Fikachi. Kind of a back and forth here. Go on board with Hill. Using plenty of that curb. Of course, Hill last week gave a little bit of that bumper, that front bumper, the chrome horn to Fikachi. Always had a very good sportsmanship, and Fikachi went off, and Hill waited for him, and actually Treakle did as well, even though he had no part in that one. You can see Treakle in the reverse camera there as Hill goes inside, just to show Fikachi's there. Looks like he has a really good run off of turn 1 this time, through the S's. Got some slow traffic up the front. I think that was Stover. Might have caused our leaders to hesitate just slightly. Not sure when we'll end up pitting here. As you could throw a blanket over the top 1, 2, 3 here from Watkins Glen. Hill right on that bumper of Fikachi through the final corner. Using all the track they can out of that turn 1 exit. Nobody's gonna make it past this time. Let's see. We've got Belvin back here in the Dale Earnhardt car is in the position, but Soiker is ahead in P6. Scott Kim is about 2.5 seconds back from there. He can smell that 7th position. He'll want that. He'll want a mistake up ahead by these drivers in 6 and 7. Somebody to go off so that he can get into that position and get that interview. Throughline has caught up to Robert Benson. Gonna go inside maybe? At the bus stop? No, not quite. Wasn't quite there. Benson has a really good run through that bus stop section. Looks like Barry Buchanan are back on track after that incident with Stencellier. Unfortunately, running a lap down. Sten is in P16, also a lap down. Matthew Stover, that red car, is 2 laps down in P18. We only had 18 cars start here tonight. One of our cars did not grid. Dean's working on Benson here. Going on board with Dean here. Gonna go inside. Side by side they go. And Throughline takes over that position from Benson. Back up to the front, it's more of the same, but a really great battle here. But I want to give everybody a little bit of airtime if they're in a close battle as well. Hill was really nearly able to stick his nose of his car in there to get around Fikachi. Right on that bumper, just about. As we are at 25 minutes to go, just under in this race. Feel like something's heating up here at the front of the field. So interestingly, Treakle has the fastest lap here as Hill is going to look inside into turn one. He go. And side by side they go out of the exit of turn one. They're going to go through the S's side by side, and Treakle's going to try to take advantage here. We might be 3 wide coming into the bus stop this time for the lead. Treakle looks inside of Hill. Not gonna happen. Hill had a really good run through the bus stop there. Really good run out of the outer loop there as well. Oh, he's right on that bumper. I thought he was going to turn him. As he has to check up just a bit from running into Fikachi, and that gives Treakle a chance. Hill is just super fast through these corners, it seems like. Fikachi's, I have to imagine he's really sweating from all of this. All 3 of these drivers, really. Still not quite as good of a run through the bus stop there. Really good. I mean, it's still good, but it's not really good like it was last time, where he nearly came out of the corner side by side with Fikachi. Stefan Vapa back there on that car. He's just circulating around. If something happened to one of these, if there's like a 3-car crash up here, he can be the winner of the race in his second start here. Hill has a great run off of the final corner. He's going to look inside into turn one. This is going to give Treakle back there in P3 an interesting spot as well. Side by side they go through the S's is Fikachi and Hill. Best seat in the house is Treakle here. A little bit better than ours. Kind of a repeat of a couple laps ago. Treakle trying to power by on that outside, but that outside is hard to make work at the bus stop there. Ooh, as Hill ducks into the pits this time, he's going to try to do an undercut or something. That will put Treakle into the second spot. So we're about halfway through the race here. 40-minute race. We're at lap, or 20 minutes, a little bit higher than 20 minutes to go, but that's a good point to make that strategy call for Hill. Cortanic catching Bielik here. Whoa, Cortanic. A little bit of the commentator's curse right there, but he saves a little bit of contact with that Armco barrier. But so far so good. Let's get a quick look back at what happened there. Go on board with Cortanic. Gets a little bit loose, a little bit of oversteer coming out of this final corner. Yep, you can see him working that wheel there. Just got away from him ever so slightly. Treakle has hit the pit lane as well, so we'll see how he comes out. So Hill here is stuck behind Belix, so this is going to slow him down a little bit. This is his strategy call here. This might really change the race here. It might get Treakle into that second spot. Pikachi stays out. So let's watch. Treakle's done with his pit stop. Where does he come out in relation with Hill? That's Hill in the red car, almost side by side. Treakle has gotten out ahead of him, but there's a whole head of steam by Hill there, and this is essentially the battle for second place, although they're 7th and 8th at the moment. Treakle guards that line, that preferred line, into the loop here. Excellent battle. Excellent strategy call there for Treakle to make that stop now. Pikachi hits the pit lane. So does Vappa. So does Kennedy, it appears. So we'll want to see how that leader comes out. He's side by side, Treakle and Hill. How do they come out in relation to that car there? I think that was Belvin, maybe? Hits the pit lane. Excellent battle here. How are they going to come out in relation with Pikachi? Pikachi is plenty ahead of them. Side by side through the S's, there you go. The battle for second place now. This is really the battle for second place now. Blinking lights is Darren to the lapped car there. I think that's Robert Benson. Going in, Nutty's there. Under pressure from Hill. We go on board with Hill. Treakle has the preferred kind of place to get around this lap car. Let's see if Hill's going to get around him as well. And he does. Treakle had the best pit stop of anybody there. He was about... I hope he has enough fuel, because he was about 2 seconds faster than anybody else on that pit stop. Last car to pit was just Cortanic. Had moved up to 5th, but we'll be dropping through the order right now. It's down to 7th at the moment. That'll actually put Kim into 7th. Hill is really fast, and Pikachi now has a 2-second lead over Treakle as Hill's side by side into turn 1. Hill doesn't have the greatest exit there, though. The duck back behind Treakle. I'm sure Treakle will take the defensive line down the straightaway here. He does. We've seen this repeat over and over, lap to lap. As Hill makes it work on the outside, had a real big head of steam on him there. That's a great pass by Hill. See if we can get a replay of that. Treakle guards that inside line, but then Hill makes it work on the outside. Sending it in there. Back to live pictures. Brian Kennedy has moved up into that 4th spot over who had a mistake was Vapa. Had a mistake somewhere in here. Let's see if we can figure out what happened there. Gonna be back a ways, I think. Keep it. Not really seeing where it is. Doesn't that say an incident or anything like that? Just his pit. So something happened there that set him back. Yeah, he had a really long pit. He might have had a speeding penalty because he was on the pit lane for a minute 20 versus everybody else's 40 seconds. So Bappa with a speeding penalty in the pits. Really tough break for him. Not a tough break for Scott Kim, though, in the 7th position. Well, like we did last week, we're going to see Vapa working around some slower cars here and coming back up through the field. That's what we like to see. Papa trying to get around Stephen Tenney there. Will have the position. Just gonna have a look here. We've got 12 minutes to go in the race here. And can he catch up to Bielik or Kim is kind of what I'm thinking here for Vapa, because he's really fast. So he might be able to get into that 7th spot and get that interview position. Looking through the field. Okay, we've got Thuline catching up to Penny as well. Thuline in that SEO Mike car. Gonna dive inside of Tenny. Looks like he'll have this position. Treakle, and I saw it on the overlay here that I have my overlay, that they were side by side there for a moment. So Treakle had a really good run on Hill once again out of the S's here. They are dropping back from Fikachi though, so this is just a battle for 2nd position really. Oh, we've got Bielik getting looped around. It looks like he's going to have to wait for Barry there. Yeah. Let's get a replay and see what happened. That's the leader right there. And we've got Treakle and Hill coming through as well. Be very careful. So it looks like Bielik is just going to get it wrong through. Yeah, he gets one of his right rear tire into the grass, and that just turns you around. So quickly looking, because there was a pucker moment there for Treakle and Hill coming up to that. There was another lap car on there. I think that was Cellier. Treakle has a really good run on Hill this time. Gonna take over that spot, just slightly has the position. Hill's gonna have a really good run though on that high line. This is gonna be side by side they go. And Treakle holds him off there. Hill tries to make a move here, though, into... And it looks like he's going to have that place back. Papa has made it into the 8th spot, so about 8 seconds up the track is Scott Kim in that 7th position. But Vapa, man on a mission here, is running about 2 seconds a lap faster than Kim, though. So with about 9 laps to go, this could be on here for that 7th spot. This is the Treakle Hill show, honestly, here tonight. I also see Yerksa is catching up to Tenny there for the 11th spot. Heading back up for the battle for 2nd, though. Treakle has a decent run. I don't think he'll be able to make much happen with it, though. Other than poking out, maybe? No, not even that. This time, just thinks about it probably for another lap. They do have lap traffic ahead, though. That could play into all of this. Lap traffic looks... That is Barry there, and he is in 17th spot. I see Yerksa and Tenny battling for position there as well, but don't want to cut away here. Oh, we've got Cortanic have another spin off of the final corner. Not what these guys want to see. Barry gets out of the way there. Cortanic back to 12th. Had a couple of spins here tonight. Treakle looking on the outside here. Really good racing so far. I don't want to jinx it, but we haven't had any contact with these leaders, and that's been pretty good. No time to cut away or anything like that. At the same time, I'm worried about Darren having enough fuel because he had such a faster pit stop. Treakle right on Hill's bumper. And thinks about heading inside into the bus stop here. That does not pull that off. So, one thing I wanted to look at is Vapa here. He's cut that lead, or that gap to 7.5, just about. 4 seconds up to Scott Kim in the 7th spot. You can see Stefan is coming quickly. See, Kim is here. And Papa is just at the exit of that corner there. I think we're gonna see him catch up by the end of this race. It's gonna be in the last couple laps here. But the closest battle on track is this one between Hill and Treakle. This is really been that, you know, like I said earlier, Treakle and Hill show a lot of coverage here for Treakle Insurance, Hagerty Insurance, and of course we can mention Treakle Insurance does that auto, home, business, and life insurance. As they look inside, not quite there. Do race day and track day coverage, and you can head on over to treakleinsurance.com to check that out. They are in, obviously this is the National Capital Chapter, so they cover Virginia and some states around there. To double check, check it on the website. We're about 5 laps to go here with Fikachi leading here. Hill getting a little bit of a gap ahead of Treakle there with that lap traffic. So Vapa, let's get Vapa on board here. We've got Scott Kim ahead in that white car up there, or the multicolor but primarily white car up there. We're gonna see him as in Vapa really reel in Kim here, because Vapa is a 2.5 faster per lap. I have to imagine that Kim's going to be driving really hard to keep this spot here in P7. Doing everything he can. We'll see if there's any blocking here. And a Min would never block, would they? Yeah, we're missing Hendrick here tonight, speaking of admins. Busy with work, I think. Less than a second between Vapa and Kim. I want to just stay on board with us. About 3 laps to go with Vapa until we get right on this gearbox with Kim here. I'm taking a lot of curb in that first corner. But it's one thing to catch, another thing to actually pass. And there it is. No shenanigans by Scott Kim there, and Vapa will be in the 7th spot here. So that'll be interview position. So with that said, we've got Hill and Treakle. Got lap traffic ahead. That might be, I'm not sure who that is ahead. But that's going to play into it. Oh boy. They go wide. It was... What was that? Didn't catch a number on the side. I was trying to read a number, but what I read was... Okay, yeah, there was Yurksa. Okay. Alright, see it? Being a very sportsman, letting these guys go. Continue their crazy battle that they've been having for the most of this race. As that is going to be the white flag here, so 1 lap to go. Everything set up real quick here. So Treakle If he wants to make this move happen, it's going to happen here. I have to imagine our destruction party in turn 1 is going to be rather big at this particular track anyway. We'll see what happens, though. Treacle's right on that bumper. Does not use that chrome horn on that car. I know Treacle's going to be very good about that and not wanting to. If he's going to get it, he's going to win it fair. Fakachi around the final corner. 0-0 going to be taking the W here at Watkins Glen. You can see Treakle or Hill taking P2 and P3. Great race between these top 3 drivers. Kennedy coming around. And he's going to bring it home in 4th. Another good finish by Brian Kennedy there. Top team gas burn driver. Let's see what we've got here. This is what we were talking about earlier. Anybody going to take the bait? Papa, I think here we might be getting something here. Well, that was interesting there. It was with Belvin. Okay, well. That was quite the hit. It threw Scott Kim backwards. Okay, well, let's be right back, and then I'll bring everybody up for their interview. All right, we are back. I'm able to get that switch over really quickly these days. So let me get this one last thing set up. We've got Fakachi there. Hey, Steve, this is Matt up here in the booth. I have a copy.
Sure do. Hey, Matt.
Hey, you started second, but you were able to quickly get the lead. And you kind of, I don't think it was easy, but you did hold that onto that lead for most of the race. And then at the pit stops, you were able to gap. Hill kind of, he pit one lap or a couple laps early. And he got caught up with some traffic. So that kind of was that. Gamble by him to try to undercut you, but didn't work out for him. And you had control from there. But tell me about your race.
Yeah, well, the pit window was real small. We needed, depending on how much fuel you were getting, between 7 and 8 gallons, and the tank only holds a little bit over 9. So, there was a very small window if you wanted to try to do something. And me being in the lead, I don't know, it didn't seem right for me to do it. So those guys did, and I guess it didn't work out for them. But it was a good race. I messed up a little bit. I put so I had a setup that I used last night from the guys in the group that they shared, and I took a little wing off it for qualifying just to play with it. I never put it back on. So the last 2 corners were hairy as hell, and Chris was all over me. I don't know if his setup, I don't know what he used, but it seemed like it had me a little more downforce, and he really ate me up through those sections. And when I had to back it down a little bit just to kind of keep the car going straight, after a few laps and the tires kind of lost that, first few laps where they go real fast, it was really hairy. And the second to last corner, just kind of chasing the back of it for the whole race. So I was just fortunate to keep it pointed in the right direction.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, no, it definitely kept it interesting. But I was curious, if Chris got in front of me, if I'd be able to get back by. It seems like like I said, it seemed like his car was a little better in the corners. Mine was better on the straight. So I think with the long, I don't even know what you call it, turn two S's before the bus stop, I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
probably could have got him back. But I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah, it looked really hard to pass, but like you said, Chris was really catching you in the corners. I kept having these flashbacks to last week where he was gonna put that bumper on you.
Yeah.
But I think he might have touched you once, but you
Mhm.
never never caused any issues. So, but it was a great battle up there at the front between really all three of you. It
Yeah.
almost looked like it was gonna go three wide at times, but Darren didn't quite push it to be three wide, so probably a good thing. But
Well, yeah, I got lucky, I guess, at the end there. Those two guys started battling, and then that was it. I was able to get a little bit of a gap, and after the
yeah.
pit stop, and they weren't able to come back.
Hey, well, great win here today. Any sponsors, any shout outs, the
Of course,
usual?
gonna thank my wife, and I'm gonna thank Rick's Flicks, my favorite streaming service, and the guys over at the Vintage Racing Group.
Sounds good. Well, I'm gonna check where are we going next week.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Usually check. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I know we've got a few overseas ones that we haven't run before. So
Yeah, there's definitely that. Okay, I actually had the tab open already. VIR is next week.
oh, okay.
But then the following week will be Barcelona. So we ran that at one point a couple seasons back, but I think that was before you were in the league. So
Yeah, I don't think I've ever run a race there. I typically, between like this league and I think I've talked about running the Spec Miata League. They're
yeah,
kind of U.S. based leagues, and we always run U.S. tracks. So the overseas tracks will all pretty much be new to me.
I suspect that Scott will make that race at night too, because Barcelona, it doesn't have lights per se, like an American track has lights,
Yeah.
but it has a couple like endurance, lights on the pit lane kind of thing, and
Okay.
and some lights. Maybe I don't even. It's not track lights, but there's lights around it. So I bet.
Well, what do you think as a broadcaster? Because like some tracks are so dark, I'll just see its headlights. I mean,
Yeah,
is it? Is
that's the thing is I did mention that we had like say Indianapolis one time. Indianapolis doesn't have lights at all. It was like pitch black other than the
yeah.
cars. So it was tough as a broadcaster, I have to admit. But Scott will do what Scott does. So we will deal with it at the Race First broadcast booth. So
Well, I tell you what, if it's a dark race, I'll flip my paint scheme so it's green on black, and maybe it'll be a little bit more visible.
that'll be cool.
Yep.
You haven't had a broadcast with one of my partners though. He has a thing about green cars being unlucky. So
Yeah.
I don't know if
My
you've
real
ever
race
read
car is
anything
green,
about
and
that.
my real race car is green, and it's been nothing but great to me. So
Well, that's good for you. Anyway, great run here tonight.
thank
And I'll
you.
talk to you probably next week.
Yep. See you next week.
See ya. All right, we'll get Hill up in here. There we are. Hey, Chris, this is Matt up here in the booth. Got a copy?
Hello?
Hey, how's it
Hey, Matt.
going? Really good run by you. You had the pole, but Steve got by you, and he kind of had it, and you really couldn't get by him at that point. You were really quick through the corners, is what I saw, and I was having flashbacks to last week where you gave him a little bit of the bumper, but it never quite happened. So
Yeah, it was interesting race for sure. I've about halfway through the race, I found a setting I had been testing with, and I forgot to save on the boost or something like that,
mhm.
which it seemed to make a big difference. Was turned down, and I think that was enough that he had the straight speed. And I mean, I definitely think he was running less downforce too,
Yep.
but it was just enough that once he got by, like for the first half of the race, I'm like, man, I could get to him, but I couldn't get by him. And then I was like, I wonder if that setting's where it's supposed to be. So I went and looked real quick, and sure enough, it was completely the wrong setting. So I changed it up, and then all of a sudden I had the speed, but still couldn't get by him. So it didn't really do me much good to be faster at that point. And
Yes.
then I thought the undercut might work, one lap early or something like that, but as usual,
It might have
he's great in
worked.
the pits, and
Yeah, it might
I
have
got a little
worked, but you
traffic
got
on the out lap too.
traffic,
So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
Steve did say that, and it's apparently by accident, he had taken maybe the rear wing down a little bit for qualifying, and then he had left it that way
oh
for the race. So that gave him some straight line speed, but he did struggle a little bit more in the corners. Um, he said basically after the first few laps, it was a bit of a handful, maybe in those final two corners, the
For
slower
sure.
stuff. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why he certainly
I've
had
almost
to.
run into him a couple times there just from
Yeah,
how much more speed I had through those sections, and
but
clean
when it
air
came
probably
to
would have been even
that,
better too. But
bit up to the bus stop, then he had that straight line speed that was just able to hold you off. So that's what that
yeah,
was. But yeah, great race between you and Darren and Steve. I mean, you guys were on the camera all night, just about. So, and you guys kept it clean, and we almost had three wide at times, but Darren thought better of it. It looked like, uh, but great run here
yeah, it's
tonight.
great to race with these guys. You know, I obviously being the new release week and everything like that, I was playing around in the open lobbies and doing other stuff, and you forget how great it is to have a clean racing league. I mean, a lot of respect to Darren. I looked and like he had 0 incident points the whole race, even though we were battling that great. He didn't even drop a wheel. I had a few more from dropping wheels in the bus stop, but
Hmm.
the I mean it's just such respectful racing and so much a heck of good drivers too. It was a lot of fun for sure. It was one of the more enjoyable races we've had in the last couple seasons for sure. So
Yeah,
uh,
and I would say some of the lapped cars, they were good in getting out of the way and letting you and Darren get by and continue your battle. So really good effort
for
by
sure.
them. Hey,
Yeah,
any
we had one interesting moment on one of them there. Just a little, last minute deal, but it all worked out. So
Yeah, I did
for
see
a
that
moment
one.
there, I thought I was
Yeah.
going to get a little sketch, but yeah,
Yep.
that was a heck of a fun race for sure. So
Hey, any
looking forward to
shout
next week.
outs? Any shout outs? Any obviously sponsors where you've got your own sponsor you can give a shout out to?
Yeah, I always got to mention the precision racing instruction. My own business. Like I said, I do some stuff on the sim and in real life. Anybody who has their own car or race car or whatever they want, we can work with you. 20 some odd years of teaching experience and such. So definitely can help you get faster wherever you're at. Um, and then obviously, always got to thank the wife, just for
Putting up
for
with it.
putting up for it. Yeah, I mean, she one of these days I think she'll want to drag me out of this thing here. But I do appreciate it while she lets me have some fun. So it's a good deal. So and of course, yeah, big thanks to Scott for putting on this great league. It's become one of my favorite things to do, and the thing I look forward to every week too. So it's a lot of fun. So
Very cool. Well, so next week we're going to VIR, which I think everybody kind of knows these days. But in a couple of weeks we're going to go to Barcelona. So I'm not sure. We broadcasted here in the BMW series a couple
I think
seasons
we did
ago,
like
but
back in the geez, what was it back in the old Z3 or whatever it was, Z3, Z4, whatever.
Z4,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Z4. I'm just based on it, but yeah,
I was
yeah. Back in
telling
those days, I
Steve
think
that I
one of the
bet.
early races. Yeah,
I was telling
but
Steve that I bet because he wasn't there back then, but I said I bet that Scott's gonna make that at night because
oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah,
I like how he mixes it up. Changes the race lengths and does all kinds
yep.
of fun stuff. So it's been yeah. But VR should be a lot of fun, and yeah, definitely looking forward to the next one. And got to keep working on my setup game. I mean,
Yeah, that's the new
so
thing here, right?
for sure. So
All right. Well, you take care, Chris, and we'll talk to you next week, hopefully.
cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Okay, we want to bring in Darren. Hey, Darren. This is Matt
Hey,
up
Matt.
here in the booth. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I mean, you had another great race here. Unfortunately, you qualified third and you came home third, but
Yeah.
you put on a great show for everybody watching here tonight. A lot of coverage for the Treakle Insurance car tonight.
Nice.
Tell
Gotta
me about
like
your race.
that.
Yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun. Chasing down Chris and Steve, and I managed to stay right on Chris's bumper, pretty much obviously the whole race, and then I passed him. I did pass him once or twice, and he passed me back, and one time I didn't really fight too hard the last time he passed me back.
Mhm.
I was like, I'll just let him go by and then wait till a little later in the race, and then just didn't work out. There was a couple of, I was made a couple attempts, but I just couldn't get quite the run that I needed to get
Mhm.
going down the straights. But um, and we had a little lap traffic that you know um,
Yeah.
made things interesting.
Yeah, they were pretty good, I think. But it's there's just some tough spots that you can hit it. That's no, not anybody's fault. It just happens to be where you hit it. And we did have one car. I think it was at the bus stop that did get it looped around, and you guys came through there. But it was a great race. You were very clean. You let I don't want to say let, but Chris got around you going into that bus stop. You could have forced the issue at one point, but you kept it cool, kept it clean. You know, and that's good sportsman, good sportsmanship, good driving there.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to. I'm trying. You try to improve your
Hmm.
driving, so causing an incident to get by is not really
Yep.
improving. I
This isn't
feel
NASCAR.
yeah,
We might be running
exactly.
Cup, but we might be running Watkins Glen Cup, but we're not
Right,
NASCAR.
right. I mean, I these cars are have a lot of downforce, so
Hmm.
contact it can affect the handling of the car, and it's just better for me personally. I like it better if I have a nice clean pass.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I forgot the first time I got around him, I completely forgot. Somehow or another, I jumped him on the pit stop, which never happens, as you remember. Uh,
I did have a question on that because I have your pit stop in the box as the 12.6 versus Steve and Chris had a 14.1 or so. So I was wondering, I'm like, is Darren going to have enough fuel? Because it's very tight on the fuel. So,
yeah, yeah, no, I had enough fuel.
okay.
It was probably I didn't look, but I'm guessing it was probably about a half a gallon. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I guess the RNG gods, this is the random number, like that's how the pits work here in this game,
Yeah,
is that they were on your side today.
yeah. I mean,
So,
it's about time because usually they're not.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a good pit stop. I'm trying, I came into the pit, so I kind of planned it because Chris came in early,
Hmm.
before I
One
did.
lap, yeah, earlier.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm on a hot lap, so I wanted to come in when he was on his out lap, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking that, I could get around and get down and get out, just thinking that, his out lap isn't going to be obviously that, as fast, right?
Hmm.
So that was kind of my plan with that. And then I just sat there and watched, and as soon as, had the pedal to the metal when the guy lifted up the lollipop, I was gone. And I just came out in front of him,
Yeah,
if
he
I
also
remember
had to deal
correctly.
with some lap traffic, which is one of the things you have to deal with when you decide to do that undercut. You got
Right.
to think of like, where am I coming out 30 seconds behind to where I am currently? Is there a car there? But you got around him. But I don't know. Steve was telling me how he actually had lower downforce on his rear wing by accident, and that I guess that helped him hold you guys off. But he was struggling a little bit. I wonder, the downforce levels between you guys and how it compared. That can matter on getting a pass done here,
Yeah,
particularly here. Yeah.
I actually set my qualifying time with less downforce actually.
Okay.
And then for the race, I added a little bit of downforce, um, just to stable the car out,
Hmm.
because the car was, um, with the lesser amount of downforce, it was pretty hairy to drive. You really had to get it right, and the car, because the car would really move around a lot, especially with the hot track. So for the race, since it was 40 minutes, I was thinking go with a little bit more downforce, just to kind of stabilize the car, with the higher track temps and stuff. So, and the car was good. I mean, even at the end, I felt like I actually had a little bit more corner speed than Chris there towards the end. It kind of looked like he was struggling a little bit, but I just couldn't
Yeah,
quite
you get
get
to the straightaway, then it wasn't
yeah,
quite there.
just yeah. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. It was one of these times I'm getting a little closer. This time I got out in front of him coming out of the pits, and then I passed him back later. So who knows? Maybe the next step up from there is actually finish in front of him.
You did have the fastest lap in this race again. Not not that it helps, but I think you did last week as well.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if that helps. And but anyway, any shout outs to anybody? Obviously, you have the sponsor, Treakle Insurance. You want
Yeah,
to shout out to?
the usual Treakle Insurance Agency, Hagerty, and Beltway Brewery sent over there. And then I didn't realize it last week, but I guess we have a new sponsor on board, SEO Mike. I
Correct,
don't
yep.
know him, but give a shout out to him for coming on board and helping us out as well. I mean, I don't even know if I assuming he's not driving, so he just
We've got one car,
you know.
and I think it's Dean is running the SEO Mike car.
Oh,
So I
okay,
don't know
okay.
what the association is between Dean and SEO Mike, but he happens to be running that car. So
Okay.
yep.
Well, we appreciate that. So, yeah, and thanks to you for doing the live stream and
Yep.
the interviews and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good league here, but
Yeah.
well, next week we're going to VIR, which again it kind of feels like we were just at VIR, but I'm not 100% sure if we were or not.
Yeah, I like VIR. So, it's a tough track. It's a fast track, and but yeah, I like it. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yep, and if we ran it last season, it was in those GT3s, which apparently have been updated this week. So we'll have to check out what those look like now.
Yeah, it's no longer the prototype.
Yes, it's the real deal now. So
Yeah, I drove one last night. I know they sound way better than what they did.
okay, I know Scott was mentioning that the sound wasn't, he didn't like it. So
Well, it sounded kind of, pardon the expression, like a fart can or something. It was just, it didn't sound good. But now it sounds more like a BMW, the inline six. They've definitely improved the sound. So,
well, we'll let you go, and we'll see you next
okay.
week.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too.
Hey, Stefan. Hopefully, I'm getting your name correct. This is Matt up here in the booth.
Hi, Matt.
You got the 7th place, so this gives you the kind of the wild card interview, and it's good to talk to you because you had a great race last race. Well, maybe not, the race wasn't as great, but you had a great qualifying last week, and then you had a pretty good run here today as well, coming back through the field. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, this was, I mean, it was fun, but I was hoping for a little bit more, but I messed myself up. I sped in the pits and got a penalty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did see that.
Yeah, 40 seconds of sitting there stewing about it, thinking, I have never done that before. But I think I'm usually so conservative going for the pits, but not this time. I basically just forgot which button was the speed limiter. It's competitive, so it's starting to get to the nerves, and fingers just don't go the places where I thought they were going to go. So yeah, a little bit of a speeding penalty there. And then I think I came out in 10th or so and had a few cars to chase down, which was fun. Otherwise I think it would have been just running around in 4th, not being quite able to close in on Darren. And I think I probably had a little bit of speed on Brian.
On Brian, yeah.
Yeah, but so it might have been a little lonely otherwise.
Well, it kept it exciting. I do think that 40-second penalty is a little harsh. it's just too much of a penalty. I do some
Yeah.
oval stuff, like on the IndyCar side, and that will set you back like almost a lap and a half or 2 laps on an oval. So
Yeah.
that is a harsh penalty for just a little speeding there, um, and that set
Yeah.
you almost back up,
Right. They're
40 seconds.
definitely
So
not kidding around about that.
no, they are not.
We might take out that lollipop man. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, not in the virtual world. We don't. But
Yeah, he never moves, and I never managed to hit him.
so next week we're going to VIR, and I guess one question I'll have for you is kind of what your background is in sim racing. Like, are you coming from GT3s and that kind of racing? Because I know Steve, he apparently did some more like Skip Barbers, I think. He did a lot of that before coming over here. What's kind of your sim racing background?
So, mostly the same thing as Steve. So my
Okay.
preference in general is for the Formula cars. So I did a lot of Skip Barber stuff. I've been at this pretty much since iRacing started. I think I signed on a couple of months after it was released, something like that. And Skip Barber was kind of my choice because it was somewhat similar to the car that I was driving in real life. And I thought that was fantastic. So I did that. And, I'm kind of buddies with Darren and Steve Facacci. And I saw them doing this series. And I know that I consider it a little weak in the GT cars. I race with them. We do some of the endurance races together. And they're always just a little bit quicker than I am. So I end up being the guy who has to save fuel or something like that. So I wanted to do something that would stretch me a little bit on the GT cars. And I looked last season when you were doing the GT3, but I have a significant distaste for ABS brakes.
I understand,
I can't stand them because, it stops you from being able to lock up the brakes. And if you slide a little bit, you just spear the inside wall. So I really like the GTE cars without the ABS. That's much more my style. I find them to be a little sharper. So they're a little bit closer to what I'm used to in the Formula car world. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get some more competition and improve some of the skills while racing with good, considerate racers.
Yeah, we keep it really clean in this league. Just to let you know a little bit about myself, I've actually have been a member of iRacing for a really long time, like around that time as well. And I did the Star Mazda back in those days.
Oh yeah, me
which
too.
is like the Pro Mazda cars. So I wonder if we ever raced each other because I did a ton of racing back then. These days I mostly do the Indy cars, so I'm completely awful when it comes to racing a pin top car like the GT3s or the GTEs. I did run one race with these guys, Detroit Belle Isle. I'm kind of a crazy guy that likes the street courses. I think it did get like 5th or 6th, something like that, but I'm not good with these GT cars.
No, and I don't understand what it is. And it's funny because Steve and I talk all the time, and he's like, what is it about you? You're so quick in the Formula cars, and then you come to a GTE car, and it's like roofs and doors and things slow you down.
Yeah.
Like, well, they do. I mean, technically, they actually do. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the driving style that I need to figure out. So
You'd
yeah,
probably be okay
great.
going into one of the P2 cars, though, because even though that is closed cockpit, it does drive more like an open wheel car, although it does have all the traction control and everything. So
Yeah, I like the nervousness of the Formula and prototype cars. I like it to dart around a bit. The GT cars are a little bit slow and dumb in the way that they react.
But I know exactly what you mean. So
yeah, so you kind of have to. I find that they're more driven as if you're piecing together a bunch of points on the track, and if you miss that point, you don't really have an opportunity to muscle the car around with feel. Because they are so high tech these days with the ABS and the traction control and all the buttons and things that I don't care for.
Yep.
Whereas the Formula cars, you get them, you miss something a little bit, and you just make it up by driving it a little bit harder or a little bit looser or something. So it's more, the Formula cars I think are more in feel, and the GT cars seem to be more on kind of consistency and accuracy and being able to hit those marks every time.
Well, that's an interesting thought. I'll have to think about that the next time I'm running a GTE or GT3 car,
Yeah.
because I'm lost when I come to them as well. So, like, just yeah. Anyway, good to meet you up here in the booth. Hey, any shout outs, like anybody watching, any sponsors you've got that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, we kind of come from the vintage racing world in real life. So I'll give a shout out to my Vintage Racer Group and the Vintage Sports Car Club of America. I think my father might be watching. My mother may be too on the YouTube stream. So hello to them down in North Carolina. And of course, thank you to my wife for tolerating me stuck in this room and screwing up her bedtime.
Well, we always have to thank the wife. I do this however many times a week. I race and then I broadcast a couple times as well. The wives are always letting us do these things, so that we have to thank all of them. So
yeah,
really good meeting you there. Is it Stefan or is it something else? Am I saying
it's
that?
Stefan.
Okay,
So
Stefan. Okay.
yeah, it's Stefan Vappa. So it's always, I tell people not to try too hard when you
I
pronounce
was
it.
trying too hard.
Yeah, you get the Stefan Vappa kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, you're working way too hard at it. Just Stefan Vappa, and you're good to go.
I have to Americanize it a little bit more than what I was trying to do. So
Yeah,
all right.
it's
Well,
fine.
yeah. Good meeting you, and we'll see you next week at VIR.
Thank you. Good meeting you too.
Yeah. Talk to you. All right. Well, that's it for us here tonight. We will. That was like a long interview process there, but we will run through the results here. Good meeting our new driver there. Let's see here. We've got Steve Fagacci there in P1, followed by Chris Hill, P2, Darren Treakle, P3, Brian Kennedy in P4, Igor Soiker in P5, Aspen Belvin, P5, Stefan Vappa in P7. I'll have to get used to that one after he told me how to actually correctly pronounce it. Scott Kim, P8, Dean Thuline, P9, Peter Yerksa, P10, Stephen Tenney, P11, Colin Kortanik, P12, Sten Cellier, P13, Yakov Bielek, P14. That was a tough break for Yakov because he was early, a good run early in the race. He had that tire drop in the bus stop there. Robert Benson, P15. And we've got Tim Bradford, P16, Barry Buchanan, P17, Matthew Stover, P18. Peter Lanik never started the race, but he's going to come home P19. But that's it for us here tonight. Shout out to Treakle Insurance, Beltway Brewing Company, and SEO Mike for being sponsors here. Have a good week. We'll be back here next week about 8:15 on Thursdays. Take care.